Hey everybody, you got John and Sally here. I don't know if Sally's going to stick around, but we're here to talk to you about ultralight hiking gear. Now, before we get started, I want to ask you a question. What is your purpose for hiking? What is it that you want to get out there? Are you going hiking to have great food, to have a comfortable night's rest, or are you going to cover some ground? Do you want to see some stuff? Do you want to climb mountains? Because that's what I'm talking about. We're going to dive right in. Now, technically, this wasn't in the pack. Didn't fit that well, but that's all right because it's always on my head. Except for this video. But when I'm hiking, this is what I'm wearing. So it's a broad brimmed hat. This is a Tilly. And I'm sure there's a number of brands that are out there, but this is a great brand, very reliable. And I think they have a lifetime guarantee. Even if you lose it, if something happens to this hat, the people over at Tilly will take good care of you. So definitely look into that. All right, let's dive in here. Well, actually, first, talk about the pack itself. I've tried out quite a few packs, and it got to a point where I could not buy a pack that was light enough. So I was forced to make my own. This is a Ray Jardine design, and you can get plans and even the material from his website. It has worked out great for me. There's nothing on here that is unneeded. No chest straps or a waist belt. It's just a very simple design yet efficient. You've got these huge mesh pockets on the sides and on the front. Great for storing things, throughout the day in your water bottles. And it's got these nice little straps here that add support, but also allow you to hang your socks or anything else you want to dry out. The sill nylon on top is waterproof, so it helps it to shed water off the top, and it's a great design. I have probably 700 miles worth of hiking on this pack right here, and it's in great condition. I punched one hole in the top here when I was cutting through some brush, but I patched it up with a little silk nylon kit. It's good to go. All right. Now, let's talk about what you're going to be wearing on the trail. We're starting with the base layer here. Got a little skimpy pair of track shorts. This is all you need. You don't need underwear. It's got a liner in it. You don't need a bathing suit. You swim in this. You don't need a second pair. They're so thin, they dry quick enough. This is all you need. And there may be nights where they're still a little wet from the rain, but they'll dry off while you're sleeping. It's fine. I go with the dark color too to help them dry a little bit quicker in the sun. Now, for my shirt, I like to go with a lighter color, simply so it can reflect heat better. Again, you want to go with a synthetic material. Get it as light as you can. It's not really here to insulate you. It's just to help wick the moisture off you and protect you from the sun. Now, if it is getting a little cold, you're going to need some form of insulation. This is the one I used on the Colorado Trail. It would be great certain months on the Appalachian Trail. If you're starting early in the season, you may want to go with something a little bit warmer, but this is wonderful. It keeps your core warm, and that's the most important thing. Now, rain gear. Depending on the season, you may not even want to bring rain gear. But I almost always want it. And this right here, this is, I think it's called Dry Ducks. Let me take a look here. I cut the tag out of it just because I don't want to carry the tag around. But this is just like one step above disposable rain gear. It's a non-woven material, really lightweight. It's also somewhat fragile, so you got to be careful with that. And that goes for all of your lightweight gear. If you treat it with respect, it will last a long time. If you throw your pack on the ground and go running through bushes, you're going to rip holes and stuff. But if you're careful, you're going to be just fine. So yeah, check out some Dry Ducks rain gear. Does a good job. All right. Now, throw this one jacket out there as well. If you're in some colder weather, you may want something long sleeve. This is a down jacket, so it's lightweight. Doesn't necessarily do good in heavy rain, but if you have a rain jacket that you can put on top of it, this has I think it's DRW or DWR or something like that. so it repels a little bit of water. And with the rain gear, it'll do just fine. Now we are getting into shelter, and this is actually something I like to keep close to the top of my pack in case the weather just gets horrendous and it's better off to just, hunker down for a little bit, or if it's at the end of the day, you want to get this up quickly so you can get your gear underneath it. This is a tarp tent, pyramid style by Mountain Laurel Designs, and it's very nice. I don't know where the top of it is, but it makes a pyramid. Protects you on all sides from the wind and from the rain. It does not have a floor, and you'll use some stakes and your trekking poles to set it up. Great shelter, loved it. If you want to go with an even lighter option, you could look into something like this. I use this on the Appalachian Trail, and this is it's a poncho and it's a tarp, and so you can get rid of your rain gear if you want to, and it just compacts down almost nothing. It's extremely lightweight, and it does a decent job. And if you're going to spend 90% of your nights in a shelter, this is a good backup for that 10% where you're not going to be in a shelter. See what else we got in the goodie bag. All right, we got another Mountain Laurel design item. This is one of their super light bivvies. It's got a silk nylon floor to keep the wet ground off of you, and then a nylon top that again has that, I think it's the DWR finish. Anyway, it repels water. It's not waterproof on top, which is a good thing because you're using a tarp or some sort of shelter, and you just want to keep that spray off you, or if anything else gets through. Works good. It also zips up around you and gives you a little, let's see if we can find it, a little mesh part so you can still breathe. Kind of look around if you think you hear something walking around camp. Alright, now I don't worry about too many dry bags or pack covers, but I do want to keep my sleeping bag warm, so I keep it inside of a trash bag. This is a Force Flex bag, which doesn't tear as easily, but I wouldn't take this on a trip. I did one, and it was just kind of hard to put things in because it kept constricting around items. Just get a standard trash bag. It does a good job. My quilt here, this used to be a mummy bag, but when I decided I didn't need a mummy bag, I trimmed it down and sewed it up into a quilt. I left myself a little foot box right down here, and then I just pull this up over me, just like that. Have a great night's sleep. It keeps me plenty warm when I'm wearing my additional clothing. I even wear my rain gear if I need extra warmth. Put everything on that you can. Get your backpack. Put your feet in your backpack, or use your pack as a pillow. Utilize your gear the best you can. Also, with a quilt, it's good because unlike a sleeping bag, where the parts you're laying on top of, you're compressing off that loft, and you're not gaining as much heat from it as you would normally. So you're not wasting any material with a quilt. Oh, this fell out earlier. It's just a little hat here that you can pull down over your ears, which I find that does a really good job. You don't necessarily need something huge, but then again, it depends on the weather. So do your research, test it out, see how it works. I like thin ones so that I can put them on and then still put my hat on top of it. Now, sleeping pads. This is all I use right here. It's just a real thin piece of closed cell foam. There's nothing to pop here. It's not the most comfortable thing, but again, I'm out there to hike. If I have an uncomfortable night's rest, it happens every now and then. Now, I do take the time to train my body ahead of time. I've slept for a month on a wooden floor just so I could adjust to it before I hit the trail. And then I hit the ground running. I didn't have to deal with that on the trail. Hiking is tough enough. So make sure you train as much as you can in every aspect before you go, not just your hiking legs. So that is almost everything. Can't forget the food bag. Now normally this would be stuffed full of food, and I've gotten to the point where I don't really care about cooking on the trail anymore. I just make all my own energy bars, pack some candy bars, some chips, and then a combination of granola and instant breakfast. That's generally what I have for dinner. So I just pour water into a Ziploc bag where I pre-mix that stuff, and that's a good quick dinner and powers you through it. Now, if you do want to cook, example here, you can get yourself a small titanium pot, make yourself a little denatured alcohol stove, just sits right on top of that, works great, easy to replace, pretty durable, a little piece of aluminum foil, make your windscreen, fine. Also, trekking poles, definitely recommend some of them. There's all kinds of styles out there. One of my favorite pairs was a fixed length of poles, but they weren't great for getting back onto an airplane in a pinch, so I just gave them away to somebody. But they were extremely lightweight and worked out good. Now these are my second favorite pair, and one pair that I'll probably use for the rest of my life. Very durable. These are carbon fiber, but they have the speed locks, or maybe they're called flick locks. I think that's what it's called. It's a simple mechanism. I don't like the twist locks. I've had a pair of those malfunction on me and break, and most of the hikers I've talked to have had that issue. So I like something simple like this. It holds the pole in place and does a good job. So try that out, but definitely take some poles with you. You're going to use these to set your shelter up as well, and just getting a hike done during the day takes pressure off the knees. All right. Water bottle. Something like this works just fine. You don't need a bulletproof Nalgene bottle or anything like that. You're just holding water in it, and you're treating your gear with the respect. So this is going to work good. And this is a 1.5 liter. You might want to take 2 of these, or find some smaller ones, maybe a 1 liter bottle. Bring those along. Generally, I'll carry along a little ditty bag like this, keep a few odds and ends in it, first aid kit stuff. Mainly stuff to treat your feet. You don't need anything huge. If you break your arm or break your leg or something, you're going to have to improvise with the gear you got. You're not going to be able to patch yourself up. So, get some stuff for, cleaning scrapes and wounds. You want to be able to treat that. Also bring like a small, like the tiniest knife that you can, in case you have to make modifications to gear. That's pretty much all I've ever used a knife for. I had a part of my shoes once was wearing funny because I was using a different sock, so I cut that part of the shoe off. Good to go. Water treatment, something like Aquamira. This is a great solution. You don't have to carry around a bulky pump and just sit there and work. This is when you take your break while you're treating your water. You rest, you eat some food. It's good. All right, some bear bag cord. Bring this along. Mainly it's to keep the mice out of your food, but potentially bears. You don't want to have to deal with that, so bring it along. It's easy. It's light. Depending on the trail, you may want to bring a compass. Probably not on the Appalachian Trail, but something not as well marked. Colorado Trail, Continental Divide, Pacific Crest. Take it. You're gonna need it, along with maps. Headlamp. This is a real nice one. It's probably not the most lightweight, but it's also waterproof. And it's a great feature. If you get lost, set it to that mode. They'll find you. They'll bring you home. Pair of gloves. Want to keep your hands warm, keep your feet warm, keep your head warm, keep all of those extremities warm. It's worth it. And looks like that's about it for the pack. See if I got anything else I want to show you. Oh yeah, some shoes. Just get a pair of trail runners. Whatever you like. Get some black nylon socks so that they dry quickly. Bring 2 pairs of these too. You want to switch those out often so that your feet are always dry. Some no-seam netting. go over your head. I hate this stuff. It gets so hot under it. Would not bring this. Water bladders. Would not bring this either. Really doesn't save you that much time. It's a lot of work to get it in and out of the pack. Or at least I think it is. You know, it's hard to keep the tube clean. I'm missing a mouthpiece on this. Who knows, it might leak on me. Forget it. This style of hat, this is actually the one I took on the Colorado Trail. I've been testing the Tilly out recently and prefer that much more over this. It just holds in too much heat in the back. Don't use those. Gaiters. This is a pair that ripped up on me. To be honest, I wouldn't take these either. They hold in too much heat around my foot. It's real easy to slip it off and just shake out the rocks if you're not carrying that heavy a pack. Leave those behind. Now a little fork like this, fork and spoon combo. The worthless knife right here. These are pretty cool. A lot of times they break. You can still use it if it's broken, but you know, if you're eating food where you don't need a utensil, don't bring it. That's all I got for you. Hope you have a great hike.